Becky Owers. I'm from Glasgow in Scotland. I'm 25 and I'm a master's student in international and European law in Germany. It's going to kill me to say this, but I think Cameron's probably been one of the best campaigners in this on the EU referendum campaign because he's actually saying things that I agree with for once, and that doesn't happen very often with me and David Cameron. Oh, I'd love to say that the mind will make the decision, but I know British people, so I think it might be a case of the heart, and especially for people that want to leave. Um, for me, it's all about generally about being able to stay and work and live in the EU, and that's my primary concern. But generally as well, human rights protection. We need to. I think if we leave the EU, then our relationship with the Council of Europe and the tja is also going to be very difficult, and that's going to be really a shaky situation for human rights protection in the UK. I'm especially worried about things like privacy. I think it's going to be staying, but I think it's going to be a very narrow one. I've read a few different things about it, and a lot of people say, on the last day, people kind of get cold feet and want to just stay with the same things they've always had. But yeah, I don't know. I've read other articles that say with Brexit, it kind of gets right to the heart of nationalistic feelings and patriotic feelings. So, some people stick to that one feeling, but I do think that we are going to have a remain in the EU, but it might just be a very, a 54% or something like that. So not going to be a high win. Yes, I'm voting. I'm waiting on my postal vote. Just talked to my mum at the weekend, and it's on its way here, apparently. I think most of my friends will. The thing is, though, that I was speaking to my sister this morning, and I think as a law student and someone who lives abroad, I am a bit more politically engaged than some of my friends and some of my sister and her friends. I just spoke to my sister this morning, and she doesn't even know when the vote is. She's not very politically engaged, but she will be there to vote. She will vote, and she will vote to remain, but she hasn't even discussed it with her friends at all. She's 22 and none of her friends are talking about it. It's not really a thing for them, and it's really weird for me because I feel like every day in Germany someone is asking me about Brexit because I'm that Brit abroad and you have to ask them. I do think, however, that young voters will be more likely to vote in because I think a lot of people are worried about their holidays and having to get a visa to go to Ibiza. But also, a lot of my friends are working abroad. I have a lot of friends who work across the EU or even just want to travel, long term. And yeah, applying for visas and all that kind of stuff. It's really annoying. I think that's probably one of their main concerns. I think also a lot of them are worried about the economics, and there's so many opportunities across Europe, and it's so easy to just apply for jobs across those 28 member states and not have to think about visas or anything like that. And I think that would be a big issue for a lot of my friends who want to work and study abroad and travel. So I think a lot of younger voters are more likely to vote in. I think generally most people in Scotland are pro-EU, and it's been interesting to me to see the EU referendum campaign going on because we just had our own independence referendum campaign about 18 months ago, and it's been a very different campaign. I feel like the campaign for the EU referendum has been a bit more based on migration, and it's a bit more patriotic, not patriotic, more nationalistic, which sounds weird compared to the referendum, but I do feel like just judging by on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, the campaign for the Scottish referendum there was a lot more political debate on Facebook and Twitter, and it was like real debate. It wasn't just, oh, we need to leave because don't want Polish workers coming over taking my jobs and all that rubbish. I think it could be the case that if Scotland votes to remain overall, and England wants to leave, then yeah, I think it will definitely be a thing. That Nicola Sturgeon has already said this summer she's going to be thinking about the independence question again, and it's obvious that she's just waiting until the result on June 24th to start really thinking about that. So yeah, I think that's going to be a big question for us. And yeah, I was at a conference a couple of months ago and speaking to different people, EU professors and academics about this, and I think a lot of people are worried because there's that question of if the UK left the EU and Scotland wanted to reapply as an independent country afterwards. Places like Spain wouldn't let it because they would veto us out because of the Catalonia question. However, some people I spoke to also said, there could be the question of Brexit happens, and while that whole negotiation process is going on, Scotland then votes to leave the UK, and then, in that time we've not actually left the EU yet as a country. We're still negotiating the withdrawal process, so Scotland wouldn't ever actually leave the EU. But I mean, this is all lots of ifs and buts and whys.